From your very first encounter with any woman, she's conducting complex psychological evaluations of your character. She's examining where your limits lie, assessing your self-assurance, gauging your level of neediness, and determining your value as a partner. Yet most likely, you remain completely unaware that these assessments are happening, consistently failing each evaluation without any knowledge of it. What's even more troubling is this reality. Women have mastered the skill of evaluating men, yet most men never consider evaluating women in the same way. You're so thankful for any female interest that you'll tolerate whatever treatment comes your way, regardless of how harmful, controlling, or damaging it may be to your mental health. This uneven dynamic in mutual evaluation explains why you repeatedly find yourself in partnerships that exhaust you, erode your self-esteem, and make you doubt your own perceptions. You're walking into commitments without any information while she's been analyzing every facet of who you are and what you offer since the beginning. The time has come to create balance. In this discussion, you'll discover not only the ways women evaluate you, but how to conduct your own assessments to recognize the kinds of women who will bring misery into your life before you invest months or years only to learn their real character through painful experience. Every exchange with a woman includes numerous testing layers happening beneath your conscious recognition. Her late arrival to your meeting is an evaluation of whether you'll maintain your personal standards or tolerate disrespectful treatment. Her frequent mentions of a previous boyfriend measure whether you'll react with jealousy and insecurity or stay confident and unbothered. Her creation of small conflicts over insignificant matters checks whether you'll cater to her emotional unpredictability or keep your psychological composure. Her unreasonable requests test whether you'll abandon your own requirements to satisfy her or hold firm in your self-worth. These evaluations aren't deliberate schemes. They're instinctive patterns meant to measure male suitability and compatibility. Women are naturally inclined to challenge limits and generate tension because throughout history, only resilient men could offer security and provisions during difficult times. Here's the crucial understanding most men lack. Your responses to these evaluations have correct and incorrect approaches, and how you react determines not merely whether her interest continues, but what treatment patterns you'll experience throughout your time together. Succeed in her tests by preserving your boundaries and standards, and you'll earn her respect and positive treatment. Fail by being excessively agreeable and desperate, and you'll watch her attraction fade while her demands and negative behavior intensify. The most painful contradiction is that the exact approaches most men believe will earn female approval, being agreeable, accommodating, and anxious to please, are precisely what causes women to lose respect and interest. Before you can effectively evaluate women, you must know what you're looking for. Certain personality patterns and behavioral characteristics guarantee relationship misery, and learning to spot them early can prevent years of anguish. The emotional explosive. This woman erupts into fury, sobbing, or theatrics over minimal triggers. She perceives ordinary relationship difficulties as personal assaults and reacts with emotional destruction. Every situation becomes an emergency demanding your instant focus and accommodation. Being with an emotional explosive means constant tension, never certain which harmless remark or interaction will ignite her next outburst. Your body exists in perpetual stress as you develop extreme alertness regarding her emotional condition. The validation dependent. This woman needs endless attention, praise, and affirmation to sustain her self-image. She insists you supply the emotional steadiness she cannot create within herself, making you accountable for her psychological state. She'll manufacture insecurity and conflict whenever your focus shifts away from her, guaranteeing your energy stays directed toward managing her emotional requirements rather than advancing your own objectives and growth. The dominator. This woman assumes she understands better than you how your life should unfold. She'll progressively diminish your independence by criticizing your relationships, professional paths, interests, and choices until you've relinquished most of your personal judgment. Dominators typically begin subtly, presenting helpful recommendations that slowly transform into demands and ultimatums. Before you comprehend what's occurred, You've reorganized your entire existence around her preferences and viewpoints. The entitled royal. This woman assumes her simple presence in your world is a privilege, entitling her to continuous special treatment. She anticipates you'll deliver experiences, resources, and focus while providing minimal reciprocity. She perceives relationships as exchanges where your function is enhancing her lifestyle, while her function is merely existing and being valued. Any expectation of balanced effort or contribution provokes outrage and claims of unreasonableness. The chaos generator. This woman flourishes on conflict and turbulence because it supplies excitement and focus. She'll fabricate difficulties, instigate disputes, and undermine peaceful periods because tranquility feels dull or threatening to her. Living with a chaos generator means never achieving authentic peace or stability. The moment you settle one manufactured emergency, she'll construct another to sustain the emotional intensity she craves. Comprehending why women test men demands recognizing the evolutionary forces that molded female psychology across millions of years. Women who selected weak, unreliable, or easily influenced partners encountered heightened dangers of abandonment, scarcity, and genetic disadvantage for their children. Natural selection preferred women who cultivated sophisticated evaluation systems to judge male quality before investing reproductive resources. These assessment approaches became ingrained in female psychology and persist even in contemporary settings where survival isn't threatened. Women evaluate your confidence because confident men historically possessed higher status and greater resources. They examine your boundaries because men who maintained their standards delivered superior protection and guidance. They assess your emotional steadiness because emotionally volatile men made inadequate decisions under pressure. These evaluations aren't personal offenses or intentional cruelty. They're automatic biological mechanisms meant to measure your suitability as a potential partner. However, grasping their evolutionary purpose doesn't mean you should tolerate unlimited testing or boundary transgressions. The essential understanding is that succeeding in these tests demonstrates the psychological characteristics women are evolutionarily designed to find appealing, while failing triggers biological reactions that eliminate attraction and respect. Female evaluation approaches function across numerous dimensions simultaneously, forming a thorough assessment of your character, confidence, and relationship capacity. Boundary evaluation. She'll transgress minor boundaries to determine if you'll maintain larger ones. Arriving late, canceling arrangements at the last moment, or presenting unreasonable requests all measure whether you possess standards and the resolve to uphold them. Accepting boundary violations without response teaches her you lack self-respect, and she'll intensify her testing conduct. Enforcing boundaries calmly and steadily signals you're not desperate and possess alternatives. Emotional steadiness. Evaluation. She'll generate emotional disturbance to observe your response under pressure. This may include initiating arguments over trivial matters, revisiting old issues, or creating jealousy situations. Your reaction discloses whether you can preserve psychological balance during difficult moments, or whether you become reactive, defensive, and unsettled by female emotions. Investment evaluation. She'll place demands on your time, effort, and resources to gauge how much you'll sacrifice for her focus. This might include expensive date expectations, excessive communication requirements, or assumptions of constant accessibility. Your eagerness to overcommit indicates desperation and limited options, while your capacity to maintain equilibrium shows you possess a complete life independent of her validation. Competition. Evaluation. She'll reference other men, show interest in alternatives, or arrange situations where you might feel threatened by rivalry. This examines whether you become possessive and insecure, or stay confident in your own worth. Jealous reactions expose that you perceive her as superior to you and fear her loss, while composed responses suggest you regard yourself as an equal or better option. If this examination of female psychology proves valuable, and you want to grasp more about the concealed dynamics controlling your relationships, press that like button and subscribe to the channel. This type of uncomfortable reality gets suppressed by algorithms preferring comfortable illusions, so your engagement assists more men in discovering these perspectives. While women are assessing you, you must simultaneously assess them. This isn't about manipulation or games. It's about collecting essential information before making substantial emotional and financial commitments. The objective of evaluating women isn't deceiving them or establishing artificial obstacles. It's observing their natural reactions to moderate challenges and requests, which exposes their character, interest intensity, and relationship appropriateness. The respect evaluation presents small requests requiring minimal effort but demonstrating whether she's prepared to invest in your interaction. This could include asking her to meet at a particular place, proposing she bring something to your meeting, or requesting she accommodate your schedule needs. Her response reveals whether she perceives the interaction as mutually advantageous or anticipates you'll manage all arrangements while she simply appears. Women genuinely interested will gladly make small efforts to enable your connection. The flexibility evaluation. Occasionally modify plans or present unexpected requests to observe her response to unpredictability. This discloses whether she's adaptable and relaxed. Life is unpredictable and relationships demand constant adjustment and compromise. A woman unable to manage minor changes gracefully will prove impossible to coexist with during significant challenges. The investment evaluation. Permit her to contribute to the interaction through planning, effort, or resources. This could mean allowing her to select the restaurant, requesting she bring wine to your location, or suggesting she organize the second meeting. Women genuinely interested will offer to contribute without prompting. Women expecting you to handle everything while remaining passive demonstrate low investment and entitlement. The boundary evaluation. Set clear preferences and limits to determine whether she honors them or tries manipulating you into altering them. This might include communication schedules, physical boundaries, or activity preferences. Her response to your boundaries reveals whether she respects your independence or believes her wishes should supersede your standards. Boundary challengers will escalate their demands throughout the relationship. Comprehending how to interpret a woman's responses to your evaluations is vital for forming accurate judgments about her character and relationship potential. High interest, good character response. She fulfills reasonable requests enthusiastically and provides extra value when possible. She honors your boundaries while showing appreciation for your standards. She contributes to the interaction proactively and simplifies your life rather than complicating it. This woman acknowledges your worth and wants to prove her own merit. She grasps that relationships demand mutual effort and willingly invests in generating positive experiences. Moderate interest response. She fulfills requests but without enthusiasm or additional effort. She honors boundaries, but may periodically test them to measure your consistency. She contributes when requested but seldom takes initiative. This woman possesses mild interest but likely has other options she's evaluating. She's prepared to participate but isn't highly driven to secure your attention or approval. Low interest response. She negotiates, postpones, or creates excuses when you present requests. She resists boundaries and attempts altering your standards to match her preferences. She expects you to manage all arrangements and planning while she remains passive. This woman doesn't regard you as a high-value option and expects you to demonstrate your worth through excessive effort and accommodation. She's likely using your attention for validation while pursuing other men. Explosive response. She becomes furious, insulted, or theatrical when you present reasonable requests or establish basic boundaries. She interprets your standards as personal assaults and responds with emotional manipulation or retaliation. This woman is a psychological explosive who will create misery through constant conflict and emotional volatility. Her explosive response indicates both low interest and poor character. Leave immediately. Women naturally categorize men into different investment tiers based on their perceived worth, and understanding these categories clarifies why you receive certain treatment types. The provider. Classification. If she perceives you as a provider rather than a romantic interest, she'll reduce physical intimacy while increasing your investment requirements. She'll anticipate expensive outings, gifts, and constant focus while offering minimal reciprocity. Provider-classified men are perceived as resources to extract from rather than partners to satisfy. She'll maintain sufficient interest to sustain your investment while constantly having explanations why deeper intimacy must wait. The validation classification. If she perceives you as a validation source rather than genuine romantic interest, she'll appreciate your attention and compliments while maintaining emotional distance. She'll respond favorably to your interest but never reciprocate with equal enthusiasm. Validation-classified men function as emotional support systems and ego enhancers. She'll keep you accessible when needing attention, but won't prioritize your requirements or wishes within the dynamic. The romantic classification. If she perceives you as a high-value romantic option, she'll actively seek your attention, accommodate your preferences, and invest in generating positive experiences together. She'll demonstrate physical affection and emotional availability. Romantically classified men receive the optimal version of her personality and conduct. She'll eagerly please, remain flexible with your requests, and proactively maintain your interest. Recognizing your classification allows you to modify your investment level appropriately and prevents overcommitting to women who've already categorized you as a utility rather than a prize. Most men fail at evaluating women because they're terrified of losing female attention, even from women who mistreat them. This scarcity perspective makes you tolerate intolerable conduct because you assume this might represent your sole opportunity for female companionship. Scarcity thinking converts you from a selective evaluator into a desperate petitioner. Rather than determining whether she satisfies your standards, you're concentrated on proving you satisfy hers. This psychological structure guarantees poor treatment because it establishes her as the prize and you as the competitor. Women detect desperation instantly, and it destroys their attraction while encouraging them to exploit your neediness. The man afraid to lose a woman will tolerate behavior that confident men would instantly refuse. Constructing abundance mentality demands recognizing that millions of women exist in the world, and many would be delighted to be with a man of your worth. This isn't arrogance. It's mathematical reality that should inform your decision-making. When you genuinely believe you possess options, you become prepared to depart from women who don't treat you well. This readiness to leave forms the foundation of all successful relationship dynamics, because it guarantees she must treat you well to retain your attention. Today's relationship environment makes evaluation more essential than ever, because traditional social frameworks that once regulated female conduct have largely vanished. Women encounter fewer repercussions for poor relationship behavior, while men face greater dangers from selecting poorly. Social media supplies women with unlimited validation from numerous sources, diminishing their motivation to invest in individual relationships. Dating applications generate the illusion of infinite options, making women less inclined to value good men when finding them. Legal and cultural shifts have altered relationship power dynamics in ways that can devastate men who choose incorrectly. False allegations, financial exploitation, and emotional manipulation carry greater consequences than previously. These environmental elements make it crucial to evaluate women comprehensively before making substantial commitments. The expense of selecting poorly has risen dramatically, while the social pressure on women to behave well has diminished substantially. Men failing to adapt to these new realities by implementing thorough evaluation protocols will continue suffering the consequences of poor partner selection in increasingly hazardous ways. Certain psychological patterns and personality characteristics generate predictable relationship dysfunction that no quantity of affection, patience, or effort can resolve. Learning to recognize these patterns early shields you from years of suffering and squandered potential. Cluster B. Personality characteristics. Women displaying borderline, narcissistic, histrionic, or antisocial personality features will generate chaos in your life through emotional volatility, manipulation, and exploitation. These conditions seldom improve and frequently worsen under relationship stress. Victim perspective. Women consistently blaming external elements for their difficulties and refusing to accept responsibility for their life results will eventually make you accountable for their happiness and success. Their learned powerlessness becomes your endless obligation. Addiction. Challenges. Women struggling with substance abuse, social media addiction, or other compulsive behaviors will prioritize their addiction over your relationship. Their decision-making will be compromised by their need to fulfill their compulsions. Financial irresponsibility. Women demonstrating poor financial judgment, excessive materialism, or entitlement to your resources will exhaust your wealth while contributing minimal worth. Their financial dysfunction will become your financial emergency. Family dysfunction. Women from highly dysfunctional family backgrounds frequently carry trauma and learned behaviors that contaminate relationships. Unless they've completed significant therapeutic work, they'll recreate familiar patterns of chaos and conflict.